Welcome to our series, Moving America Forward. Each week we'll be focusing on America's entrepreneurs as they take us to new roads, new opportunities, new ways to fill the gaps left by today's failing companies. Our series will be looking at that and a lot more. So come with me and watch as the entrepreneurs of our nation move into the future.
And I'm Doug Llewellyn here in our studios in Los Angeles with our guest today, who is the CVO of Transitions Group North America, which is actually headquartered in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. I'd like you to meet her now. Her name is Lisa Philp. Lisa, nice to have you with us. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having me.
I've never met a CVO before. What is a CVO?
A Chief Visionary Officer. The great thing about being an entrepreneur is you get to call yourself whatever moves you and is a representative of what you do.
Well, that's a very, very interesting title, to say the least. Before we begin, a little while ago, you had a chance to answer some questions from William Shatner. Let's take a look at a brief portion of that now and see how it went, okay?
Sure.
Let's watch.
I know you've been successful in your business, but what I would like to hear is just a brief capsule of exactly what it is you do and who do you do it for, and how do you see this helping America to move forward?
Mr. Shatner, Transitions Group North America is a full-service premier training and coaching company for the dental profession. We've been in business for 20 years providing tools, education, and coaching solutions that transform dental practices to be the best they can be. We offer a vast array of programs for all dental professionals, from dental school to retirement, via our inspirational speaking and seminars, our group mastermind workshops, and our on-site training and customized coaching programs, combined with our launch of our online internet learning platform called trainondental.com.
You know, that's really fascinating what you were talking about, all the things that you do to help dentists. I'm just wondering, why do dentists need all this?
Well, great question. A big part of that is because their dental education focuses around cognitive, technical procedures and the science of diagnosing and treating dental disease.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot, if any, support for them on entrepreneurship, ownership, leading a team, building a team, delegating to their auxiliary once they get out into a practice, or how to operate a practice and run a business.
Yeah, I guess when you come right down to it, that could be said of primarily most people in the medical profession, whether a dentist or a doctor. They're not learning all the things about what you do with handle taxes or marketing, which doctors and dentists do now. They didn't used to do that, but they do now. All the things about actually running a business. This is one of the key things you provide, right?
Yes, and also with how to lead, how to be a leader while they're still providing the dentistry, and also how to connect emotionally to their patients.
And you're talking about how to lead their team.
Yes.
When you come right down to it, how important is the dentist team?
Dentistry's never before been such a need for a team. I call it a team sport.
Right.
Because 85% of their patients' acceptance is dependent on the advocacy of the dental team after the dentist moves on to their next treatment room to treat the next patient.
It's just fascinating the kind of information you have about the dental industry. And you're full of statistics. We chatted for a little while. And you mentioned to me that, what is it, just 62%?
63% of Americans visit the dentist regularly. There's a serious access to care issue with the impoverished children and the non-insured elderly.
So there are a lot of people out there that don't go to see the dentist at all. And that can have really detrimental effects on their overall health, not just their mouth health. Right?
Absolutely. The oral health is the gateway to overall body wellness through systemic diseases, strokes, heart disease, respiratory disease, low premature birth weight babies. Dentistry is a major part of overall health.
So how does it work? How does your organization, number one, approach dentists? I know you speak to dentists, right?
Yes,
you
I
go
speak
around,
several hundred days a year.
Yeah, you're on the road a lot.
Yes.
And you talk to dentists. And when they hear what you have to say, what kind of reaction do you get from them?
Well, from the actual seminar itself, they're highly motivational, highly fun. I've been doing them for a lot of years with high content. The key is the practical strategies that they can leave with at the end of the day, that they can implement in their practices immediately, which helps them have a better future than their past, with growth, with branding, with communication. I have over 28 different topics I speak about on the podium at trade shows and conventions.
What would you say is the most important topic that you give them?
Well, the two most requested topics in the last several years have been overcoming failed appointments in the dental office of a patient's disrespect and devaluing their dental cleaning.
Yeah.
And the generational diversity of how to adapt our communication to 5 different generations, not only of employees, but also of patients.
Those are 2 really key things. How do you encourage a dentist to overcome the fact that so many people will miss a dental appointment or won't come? How do you fight that?
Yeah, that's a great. The number one reason patients don't show up for their hygiene visit, which is the preventive visit of the foundation to protect the foundation of their teeth, is because of the lack of perception of value. Right? So it's helping them, getting a patient to understand that without the foundation of your teeth, their premature tooth loss can occur, a silent gum disease can occur, and function and quality of life as we age can be dramatically impacted with missing teeth.
You know, it's interesting. You're a Canadian firm, but you work in both Canada and the U.S. Is there a lot of difference between the dentist situations in Canada versus the U.S.?
Well, the dentistry is absolutely similar because the companies in the industry work in both countries. Really, the biggest change, or the biggest difference, is the insurance situation, where Canadian dentistry doesn't have fee-reduced managed care. Yes, thanks to my father, who researched what's the least amount of education, highest income potential for a female never to have to depend on a man, and said, you're going to be a dental hygienist. And I got accepted to East Tennessee State University, did my dental hygiene degree, and practiced clinical chairside hygiene in both Canada and the United States.
And how did you get involved with this organization?
Well, through my practicing in both countries, realizing there is my passion for dentistry really, and my passion for helping people save their teeth is how it started. And then realizing that working in one place wasn't probably what I was put here to do. I was here to impact a higher volume of people and dental practices, and I began one practice at a time, writing a program for dental hygienists to treat periodontal disease and gum infection. And in 2000, I purchased a company. And in 2005, I partnered with Benco Dental to launch into the United States. And here we are.
Look where you are today.
Yeah. It's been a great ride.
What kind of feedback do you get from dentists who hear you and are exposed to this kind of instruction that is available for them?
Well, depending on where the dentist is coming from, whether they're a new graduate who wants to learn how to do it easier now, not wait till they've been in their career for several decades to figure out how to run a dental practice, or whether it's a mature dentist who is transitioning out of dentistry that wants to maximize the value of what they've built for so many decades. I would say what comes back mostly in all my testimonials, and in our testimonials of my team of experts too, is that results are guaranteed, that if they follow this tried and true strategies, they will have growth, they will have retention of their patients, and they will have the dental practice they deserved.
As you pointed out to me, the dentist, for the most part, is in his little dental suite, which is a 10 by 10 foot room, and he's there most of the day if he's not in a lab doing something in the lab, and he's really not exposed to everything that's going on in his practice. You know, he doesn't see what all is happening, and he doesn't know. Well,
probably 9 out of 10 dentists in my career have told me they just want to be a dentist, right? How does everything else work around that? So yes, it's a tough leadership model. They don't have time to sit in a big building pontificating their vision and how they're going to build their people. So they need to be able to depend on all the things that happen outside of their treatment room, with interruptions to go visit hygiene to check that part of the practice in a general practice.
I think the average person would have no idea of the various kinds of things that a dentist has to deal with, other than, you know, what he's doing on somebody's mouth at the time he's working on. There's so much more involved.
Yes, and there's been decades of patients being afraid and fear and anxiety, and dentistry's come so far in being able to make the dental appointment into a dental experience.
I know you also want to give back a little bit, and that's why I want to ask you about the program called Canada's Tooth Fairy.
Yes.
Explain that.
Well, dentistry's been great to me, and I've always had a passion for if you can teach a child at a young age with prevention, education, and possible treatments, how you can impact not only their social acceptance, their quality of life, but their future as a patient in dentistry. Canada's Tooth Fairy is an extension of a highly successful organization called America's Tooth Fairy. So in my quest to look I'm on the board of the Dental Industry Association of Canada, and I was commissioned to find a philanthropy that we could drive dental demand in Canada. So I went to America's Tooth Fairy and said, can we be an offshoot of your American division, who's extremely successful, and launch into Canada? And through doing that, I'm working on gaining industry support, but also writing a turnkey community outreach program for every dental practice to use in their own community to service their own impoverished children in any organization they choose.
Are you having luck?
I can tell you, building a nonprofit is probably the hardest thing I've ever done, but the challenge, I'm up for the challenge, and it's a marathon, not a sprint.
I also want to ask you about a book you're working on. You have a book. You say right now most of it's up here.
Well, I've been told I've had 12 books in this brain. However, yes, there will be one launched at the end of 2016 on the top 100 communication tools in a toolbox for a dental practice, from how to lead, build a team, communicate with the patient, and gain case acceptance for their technical gifted.